Hello viewers. A few weeks ago I obtained an AT&T SynJ telephone set. This is a 4-line system, and I do have a complete system here. I have this main transmitting base, I have multiple desk sets, a few cordless handsets, as well as a range extender. So I will eventually be doing a full review on the system, but I've only been using it for a couple of days so far. So I just want to show it and give out some initial opinions on it from what I've encountered so far in the system. So I will say that this overall is a pretty pricey system. One of the cordless phones goes for about $120, and the desk sets are a little bit more than that, I think. Even the range extender is about $100. So it's, you know, the prices are definitely up there, but you're getting a quality piece. It has a nice feel to it. The buttons, you know, they have a nice feedback to them. They're easy to press. They're big and they're spaced out nicely. The numbering on the buttons is pretty easy to read. Those leave a little bit to be desired. This isn't too bad. The screen is pretty easy to read as well. It's not showing up on the camera, but it is easy to read. The phone itself is big, you know, compared to a keyboard. It's almost the size of a keyboard, which is really huge. Some people may not like that. It doesn't bother me. The handset is comfortable to hold, but I will say this earpiece is not. I mean, not the earpiece. This microphone is not the greatest, in the sense that, like with the older phones, for instance, like a 2500 set, even if you have your mouth right up against this, it's not going to get too distorted because the sound is going to be distributed through that whole entire microphone. Whereas on this one, it's pretty easy to just distort the sound with the wind and whatever, overload it. If you're like me, you tend to speak very close to the phone. So that's one thing that I've noticed I have to kind of keep watch with when I talk on this phone, otherwise people can't understand what I'm saying. So that is one minor gripe that I have about it so far. The other thing that I'll say about it that's driving me absolutely crazy is the backlighting on the display. Now, this wouldn't really be an issue if you were using it in its intended location, but at night this phone is a joke. There's no backlit button, so you can't dial in the dark, and this display, the backlighting, never goes off, and it's bright. I mean, it lights up a whole room well enough to see everything in it. So at night I have to cover the screen with a cloth for the one in the bedroom because I can't sleep with so much light. So that's an issue I've encountered using it in a residential setting. That's not typically going to be an issue. The buttons are nice. They have a nice feel to them. They're easy to press. You can dial as fast as you want and it picks up every press. It's pretty intuitive to use. You got your line selections, the menu. It's the menu is pretty easy to work through, pretty intuitive. You got your extensions, so you can quickly call any telephones on an intercom or transfer. So that's really easy. You have speakerphone down here. The telephone does have a headset capability on the base, which is nice, and on the desk sets as well. Good volume, good sound quality on both ways. The push-to-talk thing is pretty cool. I like that. It's definitely got a lot of powerful communication tools to it. If you were to use this in an area where you really couldn't talk to people, you know, just by yelling down the hall, this is really going to connect people, especially because you don't have the limitation of wiring. So if you don't have wiring, you don't have wiring for enough lines, or you don't have it where you want it, this is really a great set because this main base is the only one that has to be connected to the phone line. All the other, even the desk sets, which I'll show in a minute, only need power and they work off of this one. Let me go to the desk set, and then we'll go back to the cordless. And I'm not going to show the range extender in this video. We'll do that later. So this is the desk set. You can see it's smaller than the main base, but it's also fairly large. Let's see if we can get some more lights in here. I'm not sure if that's making it any better. Let's turn this on. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Let's see here. So you can name each desk set, so you know which one to call, which is pretty cool. It's got similar layout to the main unit. You got the line selections, push to talk, intercom. We do have, I think the transfers is a soft key on here. Is it? Well, I'm pretty sure you can transfer. I'm still learning how to use this. I haven't had a chance to read through the menu. Not read through the menu. I haven't had a chance to fully read through the manual yet, and that's something I have to do. So, I'm still figuring out how to use these things. But we do have the push to talk functionality. There's definitely a lot of functionality that's on the main base that's not found on these. It's definitely intended to have the main base set up as like that person takes all the calls and does most of the call routing. These desk sets are kind of more of a just answer and place calls, not so much transfer and things like that. You can record calls, and that works well. Oh yeah, I'll say this about these phones, and I say this about almost every phone that I've done a review on. They really skimped on the memory in this phone, and I don't understand why, because memory is cheap. I can understand skimping on the cords, and these cords are pretty flimsy, by the way. I'm not sure how long they'll last. The memory is cheap. It's not something that you should skimp out on. The quality of the recordings, like especially the music on hold recording, is absolutely abominable. Now, of course, most people call them those dumb iPhones and whatever, and so the call quality is terrible to begin with, so it doesn't really matter, but it shouldn't be that way. You know, it wouldn't have cost them a dime to add another 5 megabytes of memory and have the quality actually be good. And that's the same thing with the answering machine and the menu systems. The audio quality of the recordings, it sounds like an answering machine. It's not very good. And the other thing where there's not very much memory is in the phone book. It only stores 100 entries. And now, for my personal use, I don't think I'll ever add more than 100 entries, but that's not a whole lot of entries. I have cordless phones that cost half of this set that store 3,000 entries. I was shocked that this didn't have a capacity like 5,000 entries or something. 100 entries is just ridiculous. And it's the same thing with the caller ID. It doesn't have a whole lot of entries. So, a bummer for sure. The desk sets do have a headset option, which is kind of cool. Speakerphone as well. You get the mailbox for this particular telephone. You also have access on these to the main base as well, the general mailbox. So again, same handset, same complaint with the microphone, but again, the sound quality is good. It works well. Yeah, you see we only have one antenna on here. And oh yeah, that's the other thing that's kind of strange about these phones. There's just a delay on these phones because it's wireless. When you turn this on, there's like a good 2 or 3 second delay, and it's just really weird when you pick up the handset and there's no sound right away. Not really a problem, it's just kind of slow, and for something that's not running on battery, I don't understand why that is. You know, I could understand having it take a couple of seconds for the cordless phone to link up to the base, but something that's not running on battery and trying to run efficiently should just be connected, and you pick it up and it's there right away. I don't understand why it's not like that. But anyways, that's that. So let's talk about the cordless. and then I'll wrap up this video. So the cordless phone, I like the cordless phone a lot. It's big, it's heavy, the belt clip is really substantial, the buttons have a nice feel to them, the backlight goes off so you can sleep at night, the buttons are backlit, which is nice, the screen is really easy to read. It's just a good cordless phone. The layout is nice, the buttons are easy and intuitive, volume control on the side. Honestly, it's a great cordless. It's heavy though, and some people may not like that. I happen to like that a lot. It's got a nice solid feel to it. Headset jack as well. The ergonomics of the earpiece aren't the greatest, just like every other cordless phone today. The battery compartment's pretty cool. It's got this thing you turn. Probably can't do it single-handed. Instead of the clicking mechanism, you turn this to unlock it, and then the cover slides off. Uses a pretty standard battery that's fairly affordable. It's nickel metal hydride. But I like this locking mechanism because I've had the snapping clips on other phones break before, and this will probably never break. So, and the standby display is phenomenal. Finally, a cordless phone that has a reasonable standby screen. It shows, let's get it on here, it shows the date and time, shows the missed calls, shows the handset name, shows the battery, and it clearly shows you have caller ID, missed calls, or a new message. So standby display is great. There's so many cordless phones that just don't get that right. Speakerphone on this is really good volume on it, and quality's good. Really no complaints about the cordless, honestly. It's a really solid cordless phone. The only thing I will say, and I'll say this about the whole system in general, the range was a disappointment. It's really not any better than the average Tech 6 phone, which I don't understand why we have these big huge antennas on the thing and we're not getting that good of a range. It's not bad. The range is certainly not less than other phones I've tested, but if you compare it to a good quality consumer grade phone like a Panasonic 6 Plus, for instance, the range is about the same. And the Panasonic 6 Plus has no external antennas. I thought with all this antenna stuff you'd be getting some serious range out of this thing, but it's not. It's not even close to a 900. So that is one thing to note. If you're going to use this in an environment and you're going to be indoors with more than like 100 feet, you're going to need an extender. So that was a big disappointment. I took this thing in my basement and I went all the way across the house downstairs, and I got a little bit of clipping on the farther side of my house. So I have the extender going inside my house. You know, and if you're using this in a business environment and you're roaming around and you got thick walls and such, you need a fair bit of extenders. Fortunately, it can handle 6 extenders, so you can get a pretty good amount of coverage with this, but not by itself. You do need those extenders, and they are $100 a piece, so the price goes up pretty fast to get good coverage. But other than that, it's a good system, and I like it so far. And there's some things I haven't been able to figure out to do. I'm not sure if I just don't know how to do them, or it doesn't have it. I'll have to, like I said before, I got to read the manual and look into it more, but that's all we're going to talk about for now. Here it is. It's a cool phone, and it's definitely practical if you don't have wiring for multiple lines like in my house and you want to have multiple lines in different rooms. So that's going to be it for this one. We'll be back in a couple weeks, maybe a month after I've been using this for a while, and I'll make some more comments on it. Goodbye.